Welcome to the Oddfrog Chop Shop, your one-stop podcast for all things toy, design, collectible, comic book, video game, movies, pop culture, and more. And now please welcome your hosts, Kelly Greenwood and Eddie Hermosillo.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to episode 6 of the 1/12 scale chop shop. Yeah, you heard that right. I think it's the 1/12 scale chop shop. I think it makes more sense, but yeah, we'll let you know what's up. But all of us here, Kelly and Mikey, we're here again to kind of chop it up about stuff. We're just letting the flow of the podcast kind of evolve organically and make it work as it goes. And we're going to talk about some news that recently happened with Hasbro, and we're going to talk about movies, and we're going to talk about action figures again. And yeah, we're just going to, like I said, chop it up.
Yeah, so as many of you, I'm sure know, HasLabs released the Engine of Vengeance yesterday, which came as quite a shocker.
Should I pull that up?
Yeah, go ahead, Mikey, pull it up. Which came as
I'll pull it up.
Quite a shocker to us here at Oddfrog Entertainment. As you know, we've been working on a 1/12 scale muscle car for many months now. It started out, we were working with another garage that we had been contracted to design their vehicle. We put a lot of work into it. We were never paid. So we decided to continue with our design to try to make something out of it, obviously changing the body style and stuff like that. So it was a big shock when I saw this new 1/12 scale vehicle pop out for pre-order and startup or Kickstarter yesterday.
Looks decent, by the way, but I mean, yeah, very big shocker. Like, it was like, wow, we've been working on something that since February, but yeah,
right,
nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, the flames are kind of cool.
Oh, I think the flames are really cool. I think the car design is cool. I mean, what really disappoints me is it's so close to our own. As far as it's a muscle car in the kind of similar genre. The details are basically exactly what we were going for. Looking at the bottom, that's what we were doing.
Wait. I have to say something about this Ghost Rider. He looks like the twisted metal clown to me. He doesn't even, I don't know. I just can't get over that.
No, I think you're right. It's kind of an odd design. He looks more like a Fortnite character, or I don't know. He looks more metallic than like a skull, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. It looks like it has some articulation, at least enough to get him to fit in the car. I like the lights. That's obviously very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I guess I was less disappointed when I saw their price tag. I mean, that's the big thing to me that I didn't understand. Eddie and I have done a lot of work, like narrowing down the price tag so that we're not having people pay this exorbitant amount for this vehicle.
We're not price gouging the products. We're coming at you guys with a reasonable price tag that we feel is comfortable enough to make it worth bringing the thing to market. And I get Hasbro. I don't know. I guess Hasbro is a huge. They have a lot of people to pay. I mean, we have Kelly, Mikey, me, and our boy Johnny Wong Studios. He's the one who's been riding with us since the beginning, and he's the one that's helping us out, our manufacturing team, and yeah, he's making it happen. But at almost $400 after shipping and taxes, it's. I mean, I don't know what to say.
That's super steep.
I know, there's always licensing stuff you got to pay for when you're working with Marvel and stuff like that. So that's obviously why there's a bit of a premium on it. But man, that much, I mean, we're a small company, and we worked hard to get our price tag MSRP to $175. We feel like that's a fair price. And as I was saying in a previous episode of the podcast, we landed on that price because it gives us a realistic number of sales that we can shoot for the Kickstarter. So if I have it priced at 175, we only need about 1,000 people to 1,250 people to back us, which pays for tooling and shipping it here and enough units to get it out actually to you. So that's why we priced ours at 175. And even then I was like, oh man, it's expensive. But we looked at other things in the marketplace and, looked at the characters that are going to be in them. And at the end of the day, we looked at the high-end photography and we tried to balance all those things out to where people could afford them, but we could actually realistically get it made too. So I know that's where we landed on our price, but with licensing and stuff like that, I understand you got to have a markup. I don't understand how it's like almost $400. I don't, that's like both companies are getting 100% profit essentially. I mean, that's a huge, huge markup. And I mean, it kind of reminds me of what Mattel just did with the He-Man stuff, where they release a 4-pack for $150 and it might be a $20 figure, Exactly. So, Eddie, I guess I'll let you talk about a little bit of the design with our car, or maybe we should talk a little bit first about our association with the former 112 Garage. I guess there's a lot of confusion out there still as to who Oddfrog Entertainment is. Some people think we're a rebrand of OTG, which is, I mean, people are going to believe what they want to believe. I guess at this point, we've been, I think, more than transparent about us working with them. I mean, if you look at our website, you can see that it's still based as a contract company. So, I mean, we contracted with a licensee from the Chargers football team, and we did a plush doll for the Chargers. And it's like, so, before OTG, we were kind of doing our thing. We were a contract company. That's why we reached out to them and said, look, we think we can make your design work. I don't know how many people remember seeing the original vehicle, but the plastic is kind of bad. It's obviously like a 3D printed model. The doors didn't close all the way. There was about a 3/16 gap between the door and the body. It was very minimal as far as the interior. And so we took that design. We pitched our own design to OTG. It was like, hey, this car's a little meatier. It's got the big hood scoop and stuff, and it's a little more of a classic style. And they were like, no, we've already taken pre-orders on this one, so we want to do our own vehicle. And we said, okay. And we took our vehicle and we put it on the back burner, or we just put it away, thinking that we were going to do this one for them. So we did a design of their car. We sent it to our manufacturer where they redesigned it for mass production, right? That means everything has to be redesigned. You can't just build a body in 3D and mass produce it. Each part has to be moldable. It has to fit together. And so we paid our guy several $1,000s to design for mass production. And when it came time to get the funds per agreement with the OTG, they just stopped communication. Actually, at first, they kept putting it off. Oh, the money's on a hold. Where at first we had heard that it's all in an account. All the pre-orders are in an account. The money's ready to go. Then it was on hold. We waited till the hold date came and went, tried to contact OTG. Nothing, zero, completely ghosted. We gave them about a week. We gave them an ultimatum and said, look, we need to get money for this design by this date. Otherwise, we're going to have to call the whole thing off because we have a development schedule we got to stick to get it to where the distributor wants it on time. Nothing, heard nothing. In fact, to this day, we have never heard from the guy once we asked him to pay for the work we'd already done. So, lesson learned here about, making sure we get paid at least partially up front. So basically that was a major setback for us, to where it took several months to raise the capital on our own. I mean, we're a small business. The one product we have put out, that's done. So it took a lot of effort on Eddie's part and everybody's part to secure finances to get this thing to prototype. And even then, we haven't fully paid off our guy from the work we had him do for OTG. So,
Eddie, this is from your Instagram here.
When we put it out there so many times, and we've come on the podcast and explained exactly what went down, that we were the ones that contacted the Big Bad Toy Store and told them that we're not going to build this vehicle because we have not been paid. It's just kind of weird to hear people say that we're just a rebrand of OTG. I mean, our website's there. We're here on the podcast being as transparent as possible. We've had people come on the podcast that worked previously with that garage that explained it from their situation, which fell in line with what we were saying, obviously. So, this will be our last attempt to kind of explain to people that we're a different company. We were a contract design company before that garage. We were working with them. We're going to continue to work on this kind of stuff after. So we're not going anywhere. It's just a little disappointing that, we've put all this information out there and people just continue to kind of slander us, I would say, with labeling us as a rebrand of the 112 garage. So, that's all I wanted to put out there, guys. We're being as cordial as possible, trying to be as transparent as possible and give you all the information.
Totally different entity, completely different entity.
100%. Like I said, we were contracted by them. We were never paid. And so our payment is to pick up the design and go with it. We designed it. We did all the work. And now at this point, we've raised all the capital. And so we're going to bring you our own design for the vehicle as far as the 112th Street Chop Shop. And going back to comparing it to the one that released yesterday, I mean, Eddie, you want to talk about some of the details and how similar they are to what we've been doing?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Kelly. You just literally stole the words from my mouth. But yeah, anyways, yeah, guys, I don't know what it is that seems to not make sense to some people. Like you said, we're designers, and we saw the opportunity to make his design better. I was like, look, as Oddfrog Entertainment, we can come at you and we can produce these designs, which Mikey brought up just a minute ago, and they were like, yeah, we want you on board. So we took their design that was there and redesigned it to make it look even better, which you've seen it around, and that's what was going to be made until the money for the prototype wasn't available for some odd reason. But now that we went ahead and did that ourselves, we're doing our design. I mean, we're just another player in the game. We're just like Hasbro. They came out with the HasLab. We're just 112th Street Chop Shop coming out with our version of the vehicle. We're just another player in the game now, doing our thing, and it is what it is. They were trying to bring those two on the right to market, and I was like, we can do stuff like this. So they wanted to keep the one they had on the right, but we kind of redesigned it, and there's a version of it that looks a lot better, but we definitely dig the one on the left. That's us. That we prefer this aesthetic. So that's what we're doing. The prototype, I'm hoping to have it before mid-October. That's the deadline I'm setting for ourselves. Like as a business owner, like we're trying to get it out there before. Just on purpose, because the HasLab, it has to be funded before the end of October, like by Halloween. So if we can release it before then, and then I don't know, we can just create a ripple in somebody's radar. That's better for us, The designs, I don't know. If you look at their design, it's a Chevy Challenger. It's a Chevy car. It's a pretty badass car. Yeah, that's I don't know. That's us. That's how I don't know, man. We're just trying to do our business, trying to make a ripple, like I said, make a mark, and come in and just take a piece of the cake, man. There's enough cake for everybody. We just want some of it too. And I think with what we're trying to produce and put out, that it's valid that we get a nice big piece of it. And we have meetings all the time as Oddfrog Entertainment. I'm telling you guys, we even threw around the idea of if we were to be able to fund like 10,000, a crowdfund of like 10,000 plus, like we would develop that character, Jones Bones. I don't know if you can bring him up, Mike, but we would even consider like just throwing them in. That's one of our whole first stories is Jones Bones and like these vehicle lines and coming up with characters. And you guys already know about the Sundown comic that's coming out that has characters that I've been working on, and we're working on developing the prototypes for those. We got a whole pitch ready for Image Comics that Kelly and George are getting ready to pitch to them. So it's all falling into place where, I mean, I don't know, we just went ahead, and our whole mentality now is what's the best that can happen. Like with these things that we're trying to make, what's the best that can happen? Like the best that can happen, we sell 100,000 units. Like that's the, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, it doesn't get funded, and oh fuck, then we're in debt. Like damn, fuck. No, what's the best that can happen? We sell 100,000 of these, and people want more of them, and they're ready for the van, and they're ready for the motorcycle, and they're ready for the trains that are coming with the sun. Like it's, the sky's the limit. Yeah, the helicopters and the tanks and all kinds of stuff. We have just ideas, infinite ideas that we can come up with that I think are relatable. I don't know. I think they just hit a niche with people that like action figures and third party stuff and Mezco, and they like stuff with story. And if you have a nice good backstory to back it up, then it's gonna sell itself in a way. And that's what we're trying to develop, stuff with backstories. And I don't know. I think it's on my Instagram, Badass. We're trying to make badass toys, like stuff that I would like to see, stuff that I want, that I think is cool. And, of course I take influence from here and there, but then you have to remake it and do it, make it work for you. Like, and this, what we're doing seems to work for now. I don't know. I mean, we have ideas for board games, and we're trying to develop teams of creatives here. Oddfrog Entertainment, I'm telling you guys, you're gonna hear the name soon, and it's gonna be like prominent. And I don't know, say something, guys. I feel like I'm preaching over here, man.
You're on a roll, buddy. You're on a roll.
I think too, one thing that I want to point out too is that as a small company, raising the capital for something like this, if we would have gotten the funding from OTG when we were supposed to, we'd be in mass production right now. We would have beaten them to the punch. I mean, we already had the Big Bad Toy Store wanted units. It was rolling. So my only guess as to why he stopped communicating with us is that he didn't have the money, or the money got spent, or it trickled away. Something. So, what can we do? We were devastated. We were on our way to produce this thing, and then the funding is gone. And, I couldn't, even if he would have called us back later and said, I got it. I can't work with a person. We can't work with a person who doesn't communicate. I can't get anything done. We have $100,000 held up and you're gone. Like, that doesn't work. And then the other thing to kind of point out is that, yes, what we are showing are 3D models. That's all we can really show until we get the prototype back from the manufacturer. But as a small company, we don't have the capital to just start and launch a giant marketing campaign. We're not HasLab. We can't just come out and have everybody pay attention to us right off the bat. So it makes no sense for me to go to prototype before I've started making people aware of the campaign and of the product. It's like I have to put it out there and say, this is what we're building. We want to start to gather support, bring people on board. And, obviously there's some trepidation there. We totally understand that. I mean, lots of things can happen. We are a new company. So I'll just lay it out exactly how I have it and Eddie have it as we've planned it. So we've got the design. The design was sent to our manufacturer months ago. Then we had to raise the capital, which took a lot. I mean, we were asking friends if they want to invest. We're selling percentages of the car. We're doing everything we can to get it out there. And then we got an angel investor from a family member. And, it's not a lot, but it was enough for us to reach out to our manufacturer and say, look, we don't have everything that we owe you from the 112 garage debacle. I mean, we got stiffed, so it's our responsibility to pay our manufacturer. He agreed to work with us. We sent him everything we raised. So it's like we're sitting here with nothing, no other projects can move forward because like everything is invested in that as far as production goes and capital. So, we have to kind of put it out there and images out there and start trying to sell this car before we have the model, knowing from our end that we're going to get it done. We understand if everybody out there or some people out there are like, well, it's never going to get made. Obviously that is a possibility, but we've put everything we have into getting to this prototype. So once we have the prototype, we're already got a Kickstarter lined up, ready to go to launch the Kickstarter. We've priced it at 175 MSRP because that, if we can move 1,250 units at that price, it'll cover our tooling costs, it'll cover shipping it and third-party logistics, and it'll cover individual units for that many cars. So we've really narrowed it down to make a fair price. We're not half what the Engine of Vengeance is, but we're a lot more affordable. And, like I said, Eddie and I worked really hard calculating up that price tag. So I don't know where they pulled their price tag out of. Like I said, you got to pay for licensing when you're a toy company, and I understand that, but usually it's kind of a 25% thing, not a full 125% markup. So,
well, and also that price point helps like really, I hate to use the word kickstart, but kickstart the very next vehicle. Like these vehicles are already designed, ready to go, but we need the first one to get rolling first, and then it will be just bam, bam, bam. You want some variety, you want some kick-ass vehicles.
That's exactly right. And so to get the car to you guys, we need to sell 1,250 units at $175. So to kickstart the next vehicle or go to prototype on the next vehicle, we really need to kind of double that number in sales so that we don't have to wait. We don't have to raise the capital. We can just take that money and go right to the bad van. I mean, we're not paying a whole bunch of staff and a whole bunch of freelancers and stuff. It's just the five of us here building this company. So we are perfectly willing to take the profit that we make. In fact, not even willing. This is what we're going to do, and roll that into the van, because the van, I think, is really going to be what sets us apart on pricing and on quality. If you remember McFarlane back in the day, he could do things with detail and quality that the bigger companies couldn't do because he was operating with a smaller overhead. And really, that's what we want to do. We're all used to eating rice and beans for dinner now. So, there's nothing wrong with rolling that dice into our next vehicle. That's how much we believe in it. And just to reiterate, we understand the trepidation. We just want to be clear. The 112 Garage owes us about $8,000 in design that we have now had to pay our guy with and come up with the prototype. So it's just a little odd that people associate us still with them when we've been nothing but transparent. So, we would just ask that you check out some of the podcasts, look at our website, see who we are. We get it. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is absolute, but our drive, our passion, and our need to do this is absolute. And, we don't look at it here as, well, if it doesn't work, we'll just move on to the next thing. We're going to make it work. And that's what we really had to kind of figure out when the funding disappeared originally, is like, well, what do we want to do here? We could just start over and go in a different direction. Let's make preschool toys. Let's do plush to start and let it all die down. But we understand that there is a real need and a real hunger for vehicles in the 112 world. We also understand that it's extremely expensive to do, and that's why some of these bigger companies haven't done it yet. And we're taking a huge risk. Like I said, we're not Hasbro. We're taking a huge risk putting all of our own money and our own capital to get this car to you guys. So, that's all I can say about the 112 garage debacle. Look at our website. We've been around. Eddie and I both went to school for this stuff. I don't know what the credentials are of the other team, but they're long gone. We're still here. So we'll continue to, you guys want to associate us with that. That's fine. People are allowed to believe all sorts of things that are untrue. So we're just going to continue to keep it cordial and try to make inroads with you guys and secure that trust and earn that trust as we go along here. So like Eddie said, we're hoping to get that prototype by mid-October. And, hopefully then we can start putting it out there and having you guys see that, like, yeah, we're putting our whole heart and our wallets into this. So, that's all I can really say on that. So yeah, Eddie, why don't you talk about the details that you and Johnny worked on and if there's any similarities or why ours might be different.
I don't know. I think this almost feels like deja vu, honestly. I feel like the interior, we were going with the same aesthetic, the same look. Like, we actually wanted raised gauges and glove compartment areas, and to see that in the exact same thing in the HasLab project, it's kind of cool. I don't know. I'm not saying they saw anything anywhere. I'm not saying anything because we want to make
similar,
though. We want to make a ripple, but it looks the whole. We have images, we have screenshots. I guess that's you would take renders and screenshots of the vehicle the same way we did. That's just
true.
That just ain't lets you know that we're on the right path. I don't know. In school, I was told, not to toot my own horn, but I was told many times that I kind of had I was a bit ahead of the curve. Like, I don't know, one of our teachers who worked in the industry for years, she was like, yeah, you have an eye for some stuff that's ahead in the curve. And I don't know, stuff that I've been designing and working on, I've seen years later in the market, or stuff that I've thought of. But I'm sure that's with everybody. That's why if we invest in our ideas and we jump at them and make them happen, they become our ideas, not somebody else's. And that's what we're trying to do. The car is a Chevy Challenger. I think that's I think that's what the Ghost Rider vehicle is. And we kind of based ours off of Chevy body. I love Chevy cars. I don't know. American muscle cars, pretty badass. So, you can come off with many looks with that. And yeah, we're trying to do the same thing they had. Interchangeable rims. We want to add accessories, and I don't know. It's kind of cool, kind of weird.
I think one of the things that I found interesting was in looking at people's comments on the Ghost Rider car, and about the expense and stuff, is I saw one guy say, I think on a YouTube comment, that like this car should be priced around $170. And I was like, wow, because, as a new company, Eddie and I are just kind of shooting in the dark, trying to come up with a fair price and one that still gets the vehicle made. And when they said that, I just felt reassured that we're doing something right when we're calculating it out. We're trying to be good to the community and still keep it going as far as price and stuff. So that made me feel reassured that, we really did our due diligence on coming up with our MSRP, where it seemed like to me, they're like, oh, let's take $200 and add on $150 because why not? It says Marvel. So I was like, wow. So that clued me in that we're on the right path as you were saying, Eddie, when it comes to pricing. And then the other thing was when they needed, to get 10,000 backers, that felt very similar to us too, because, we've got it narrowed down to how many we need to get the car made and shipped and like break even. Cause we just want to get the car there. We figure if we can get our brand out there and our name with a cool car and just break even, that will kind of qualm all the worries that people have about, any association with the previous garage that doesn't exist. But we understand. We want to get the physical model in your hands right away. So it's in Hong Kong being redesigned right now. Johnny, I think, Eddie, didn't he tell us that next week we should have some kind of 3D images of the new design?
Yeah, so he's been working on it for a week and some time. He's fast with it, but he had the other car ready. He's sending images. He knows, I write to him every so often, and I showed him the HasLab one, so I emailed him within the last 24 hours and made him aware that we're no longer first to market, because it's something we had talked about even in the last podcast of trying to be first to market. But Hasbro is not there yet either. They're trying to get those 9,000 backers. I think they're about a third of the way. So to me, being a small company, but even then, 1,000 backers, we've been, like I said, we've been in contact with various influencers in the community. I was actually on live earlier with Shartimus Prime on his YouTube. Check it out. His latest live, he mentions his Chop Shop at least 2, 3, 4 times. We're trying to get on the radar. We're trying to make a ripple. We all start somewhere.
Well, and the other thing, a couple people pointed out on our Instagram too, that there's plenty of room. There's nobody in this space. Hasbro's first there now, which is disappointing for us, obviously, but the space is empty. And I think we have a superior design. The designs are similar, but I like ours better. And, the materials we were coated on, I think look nicer than the HasLab vehicle. To me, it looks like, a glorified Lightning McQueen with bells and whistles on it. And that's fine. As far as the plastic goes, it's a cool car. There's no question. And obviously I'm biased because we've been working so hard and we got held up. And, like I said, I'm a little biased, but, our car is going to be customizable. We want to have different wheel offerings. Obviously we have to sell the car to get a little capital going, but we'd like you to be able to change out the rims. We'd like you to be able to change out the hood, the trunk, the engine. Our finish is the finish on the body is coming so that you can apply your own paint job to it. And, we have decals set up. We have a person in Georgia that's going to be putting out all our decal designs for us. So, we're trying to get that down as cheap as possible. Like, we're not even going to make money off the decals. We're just going to have our designs be printed by this company and sent right to you. So, we're really trying to go for the community, the 112 community that loves to customize, loves to take pictures of the stuff. And, we're developing a line of vehicles. So our vehicles are hopefully going to be able to fit with all your characters, and hopefully you can customize them to fit whatever your aesthetic is. And, good luck to Hasbro. I hope they do get their funding, unless you all want to back out now and start funding the Bandito. That'd be even better. But, it's like Elon Musk said, competition is good. Competition is good. It makes everybody work harder and it drives prices down. So what I'm really hoping for is that in a couple of months, we can go to Kickstarter with a better product and a much more competitive MSRP. That being said, I think, that's all we can really say about that. And, until we have some images from our manufacturer, we won't put anything out there for now. We'll just kind of wait. I mean, we understand the trepidation, so we'll just wait till we have something a little more solid to show you guys. And in the meantime, we'll just keep working on our other things. And then I think what we'd like to do now at this point in the show is we've had a couple of Instagram followers really get engaged with us and get engaged with the show. And so we'd like to give a shout out to at 12th Parallel right now on Instagram. They've been great, just asking questions, being really engaged with the show. We so appreciate you. And I mean, it makes this easier when we know what the community would like to hear. And like I said, we don't know everything about the toy industry. We went to toy school and we worked in the toy industry for a couple years, just long enough to know that we don't want to do it. We want to do our own thing, but our passion is there. So we really appreciate at 12th Parallel reaching out and staying engaged with us. So they sent over some questions, and we're going to try to do this a little bit off the cuff. We pre-planned a little bit about what our answers are going to be as far as some things, but pretty much off the cuff, me and Eddie will try to answer the questions from at 12th Parallel. And we would love to encourage you guys to follow in their footsteps and just, send us questions. What would you like to see? So Mikey, we'll have you take over.
I'm going to go ahead and echo that and just say, if there's any topics you want to talk about or questions that you have for Eddie, Kelly, or even myself, please just shoot us a question on Instagram or, all the other emails that follow. But,
and if we don't know it, but you're interested in it, we'll go do the research. We'll find out about it and see what we can learn about that. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. So, and also one other thing, like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to share this video or others or any of our stuff across all social media. We really appreciate it. So, at 12th Parallel, thank you for writing. He says, I like hearing the inside stuff on how the toy industry works, design, production process, manufacturing, etc. Your personal experiences in a large corporate toy company versus being an indie startup, pros and cons, challenges. I'd like to hear what your top 5 vehicles from your favorite toy lines were and what you liked about them, like G.I. Joe, TMNT. I know you've mentioned music was an influence in your art tastes. Were there any movies that influenced you artistically as well? It'd be great to interview some vehicle customizers out there. Excited to hear about a possible aircraft design in the future. That is a huge void in the 112 scale vehicles as well. I'd love a mini dropship or a futuristic Little Bird. The only air vehicle I can think of in 112 is the Razor Crest. Now, I know that was a lot to digest all at once, but I wanted to just get it all out there so that we can kind of chop it up.
I love it.
Eddie, I'm going to go to you first. Let's add pros and cons. Well, I guess you didn't work. You've done some work for toy companies. What are some pros and cons of doing our own thing as opposed to working for that corporate company?
I mean, right now I do some freelance work for Spin Master, but it's like it's not your typical freelance work. It was a lot more hands-on. It was like helping to develop new brands and, down to creating mock-up packaging and foam core models and stuff that was needed to be pitched in ideas for this upcoming line that one of the designers there had came up with and was, following through with. But as far as working there in the corporate world and working I don't know, it's like your ideas won't get shot down by some big boss. I don't know. I guess that's like our reason for being our own company is we are the boss and we get to produce what it is we want to. We are the yay and the nay at the end of the day. And in the corporate world, you're not. You're going in with a pitch. You're going in with an idea, and if it suits I don't know, whatever it is, somebody's fancy pants over there, if it suits them, then your idea proceeds to the next level, and then the next level, and the next level. But there's always a chance of it being shot down, and that's, I don't know, I guess that's the world. But then when you are able to just do it yourself, then the idea is going to be shot down ultimately by a customer, like by your audience. If it doesn't work, that's because you went directly to the audience, not somebody else. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
No, it sounds good. Same question directed at you, Kelly. Pros and cons of corporate versus indie.
There's definitely both. I mean, pros and cons.
I'm going to get the ribbit ready.
Pros and cons working for the big companies. So when I was at Otis, my last year, I got an internship with Mattel that was about 6 months long, and then they extended it at the end of my internship. So when I went back to school, I was going to school. I would go to Mattel in the morning, and then, or kind of whenever was scheduled around my classes. Working for Mattel was amazing. I mean, there's no real way to describe it. I had never been in a corporate situation at all before. I had owned my own business for years and years, installing custom window coverings. So like mini blinds and draperies and shutters for different companies and stuff like that. So I had always worked for myself, and I'd never worked in, like I said, a corporation before. And Mattel, like, they roll out the red carpet for you when you're an intern. One of the things I really enjoyed about Mattel is, you have freedom within parameters. So you're going to be working on a project. You're going to be part of a team. You're going to go in with the team and you're going to brainstorm. What can we do? How can we elevate this brand? And then everybody kind of goes back and works on ideas and works together. And you have kind of this gigantic budget from which to try out ideas. So I remember one particular thing we were working on was a Darth Vader plush, because we were trying to pitch to Lucasfilm these plush dolls. The Mandalorian had just come out. So I worked on that. I didn't work on it, but my team worked on it, on the Baby Yoda that sold a lot for Mattel, I think. But that was my team. I was doing other stuff. But you have this huge budget. You can go try anything. They have an electronics department where if you need lights and something, you just go over and hand it to them and say, I need this, this, and this. So one morning we're doing this big pitch. I have to go stand in front of like 300 people from all over the country and probably world and make this pitch on this Lucasfilm plush. And they wanted to put a lightsaber with it, but it was a last minute thought. So I went to my computer, I went in Rhino, I built up a lightsaber stock. I made it hollow inside so that you could fit a battery. And then I made a casing for the blade of the lightsaber, made it hollow and clear, sent it to rapid prototyping department in Mattel. They had it done in probably 2 hours. Went over and grabbed it, took it over to the electronics department. They soldered up a battery and a light and a button. So within a matter of like 3 or 4 hours, I built a lightsaber. I mean, I felt like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something. It was awesome.
So it's a little bit more labor intensive to work indie.
Yeah, you're doing everything yourself, and you're buying all the materials yourself. If there's paint, if there's resin, if there's plastic, if you're doing a pitch, you pay for everything. So yeah, having that big budget behind you at a company like that is very freeing, because you can think of something and in a couple hours you can have a proof of function, because everything is right there in house to be able to prototype for the most part. The other thing that was really great about it is they really foster a playful atmosphere. So you go inside the design center and it's this huge Costco-sized building, and you have these life-size working Hot Wheels cars. They're real cars. Like, you walk in and one of them's a Darth Vader, but it's a real car. And every month they switch them out. There's a elevator that looks like a Barbie house. You can go up to the top floor, and they have Hot Wheels ramps with giant loops, and you launch your car from the second floor. Every time you go to a brainstorm in this one particular part of the design center where there's all these cubicles, you have to like duck because they're literally having ongoing Nerf wars, and drones are flying overhead. People are riding unicycles. I mean, it's just a really, really fun environment where they know who the people that work for them are and how designers are. So they're constantly filling your environment with things that inspire you. And, I love that about it. Like I said, it was kind of hard for me to fit in there because I've done construction, I've driven tractors, I've dug holes, I've had my own business. I'm a little rough around the edges for a corporate kind of situation. So I don't know that I ever fit in there real well, but it was my dream to work there when I was in school. Like that's the only place I wanted to work. And I was able to get it. And that's a whole other story as to how I got it. I kind of got lucked into it, but working for
you definitely
Mattel,
prefer your freedom of your own company, I'm sure.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like I signed a contract with them that basically said anything I created belonged to them. So if I went home and made a comic book, essentially they would own it. In fact, I had to sign a thing because I had my band at the time. I had to sign a thing that was essentially then saying that they know that I know that they know they can't take the rights away from anything we create with the band. I mean, it was like, oh, you have a band, you have to sign this one too. And that gives you the right to continue creating for your band and we won't own it. And then I signed a thing.
Definitely some sacrifices.
I signed a thing to be able to work on some, I can't even really talk about the stuff there that I worked on at the time, but it had to do with Masters of the Universe. And I just remember the contract was so crazy. Like the first 2 pages are telling you all the bad stuff that'll happen to you if you talk about what their plans are with the franchise. And then the last 3 pages are like, are you sure you read the first 2 pages? Are you really sure you read the first 2 pages? So it's like they're serious. They are very serious. I went into the HR office one time because my supervisor was just a really nice guy and he knew I had this like creativity and I couldn't just go home and not do stuff. And I wanted to make my own comic. So they agreed to kind of let me do it tentatively if it was something that, they would never personally like do. So I was creating this sci-fi Western story and I'm like, cool. Well, I'll just make it super violent, blow people's heads off and stuff. And that way they'll never want to touch it. But they're very, very serious about what they own. And so that part of it, I always felt kind of trapped. Like I just felt like I was being suffocated creatively a little bit. There's ideas I definitely had before I went to Mattel that I just kept to myself because I thought they were good ideas and I wanted to use them. I always knew that, I'd be starting a toy company with Eddie the whole way through school and through Mattel. So I kind of just learned as much as I could about the industry while I was there. And I think you learn what not to do there. I think my biggest problem with the bigger companies is they are trying to market to everyone. And I think the toys suffer because the people that care about whatever particular brand, they don't care about everyone. They want their toy. So, for us moving forward, Eddie and I have always talked about like, let's know our marketplace. If we don't know them, let's get to know them. Let's be experts in it and let's stay hyper focused and vigilant on that marketplace. So, that's the differences I can lay out. I mean, I feel like we have a lot more creative freedom, but certainly not the capital freedom. So,
okay. Well, we'll pick this up a little bit and kind of do the speed round here. What about movies that influenced you artistically? Let's give me 3 movies that influenced you artistically. Eddie, go.
Okay, movies that influenced me artistically. For one of my top 3s, I'm going to have to say The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that original 1991 movie, was solid. It's still solid. It's probably one of the movies that I've watched the most. I've seen it at least 4 or 5 times with my son.
You
He's
have
like
a lot of
13
catching
now.
up to do, dude.
No, and he's 13 now, and I did it way before that, but yeah.
Nice.
And so that's one, and then another one. I don't know, aesthetic wise, we have here ideas and visions here at Oddfrog Entertainment to just kind of pursue all forms of art and doing stop motion. So anything that's like Small Soldiers was cool back in the day. Anything that involves like animatronics or the use of some other form of art in the movie industry, I'm a big fan of. So like like the Gremlins or animatronics, like anything that has that in it. Like I said, the Gremlins or Small Soldiers, yeah, where it had like these cool action figures. There was another action figure movie. I don't know what it was. They were like a lost tribe, and it was like these weird. Man, I can't remember. But okay, that would be another one. Small Soldiers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I don't know, some sci-fi
Artistic
stuff.
influence.
I mean, something. I don't know. I like the movie. I don't know, man. I could give you 2. I'm stuck on 2.
Works. 2 works.
There you go. I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
All right. So if you think of one, chime in.
Out.
Like,
yeah. I'll throw.
How about you, Kelly? 3 movies that artistically influenced you.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
So first and foremost, I remember being in art school way back and taking a lighting class that was like lighting for film. And we basically, the whole class centered around Blade Runner and the set pieces and the fiber optic lighting and the set designs and the vehicle design, obviously very famous vehicle designer. I think his name is Sid Mead. But that movie is so inspiring just because the lighting, the darkness, the camera angles, the mood. I mean, it's literally a work of art. It's got one of the greatest scenes in film history, which is the tears and rain scene. So that one is definitely close to my heart, artistically speaking. The other one, I guess, would be 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. I remember doing like a double date kind of situation, if you'd call it that, where me and this girl went out with another couple from school, and I think we were at their house or whatever. But I got to pick the movie, and I picked 2001: A Space Odyssey because I just loved it. But it's so agonizingly slow. But at the time when it was made, I think the late 60s, we were all excited about space, and you wanted to see these scenes that were of, gravity or no gravity and these space capsules. But I remember sitting there and I'm enjoying the movie, and they're all looking at me like, what is this? It's so slow. Like, so that was a bad one to take on a situation like that. But I love that movie. Stanley Kubrick, definitely an artist. And then this one will probably seem kind of out of place, but I like it for the epic, expansive scenery and the depth of field and the camera work. But my favorite movie of all time is John Ford's The Searchers with John Wayne. If you have never seen it, it's an older movie, but it is absolutely an epic Western tale. And John Ford is just at his absolute best in film directing. The scenes are really wide. Monument Valley it was filmed in, so it's just an epic expanse. And especially with this comic, I'm drawing a lot of scenes like that. And I'm always trying to
Which
remind
comic
myself,
is that?
That would be the Doc Holyday comic by Oddfrog Entertainment and Sundown Media.
Sundown.
So yeah, I mean, if you ever get a chance to see that film, it's just fantastic. Greatest film ever made, in my opinion. Those are my 3.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought of it like a third movie. It actually is more of a trilogy, I guess you would say, like the whole Back to
That's
the
all right.
Future franchise. That was like
Yeah.
epic, man. When they started coming out with these graphics and the vehicle design was top. I mean, it was so cool, like futuristic vehicles and the whole premise of the movie. Like it did it.
Gets the gears
It
turning.
did it. Yeah, it did it for sure.
Right on. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the huge void of possible aircraft design in the future. So, what is Oddfrog Entertainment and 112th Street Chop Shop? Without giving too much away, what are we thinking for aircraft design?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but Eddie and I have been talking very seriously about what the third vehicle is going to be. So, my best friend was in the military as a attack helicopter pilot for 20 years. Absolute warrior, absolute American hero. But his particular vehicle that he flew is called a Kiowa light attack helicopter. And I just think it would be absolutely perfect for the 112 scale world as far as introducing an aerial vehicle. It's light and small enough that I think it's feasible to get done for a reasonable price. And it's badass enough that it's like, it's got guns, it's got rockets, it's got everything. I mean, if do yourself a favor and look up Kiowa attack helicopter on YouTube. They are mean.
There'll be an image up somewhere in the corner here in post production.
We'll
you'll see it.
So I think that's the direction we're looking at right now. And I know with Sundown and Doc Holyday, we have some interesting kind of hot air balloon ideas, but yeah, I don't want to get too much into stuff. But yeah, I think, growing up, back to another question that was at 12th Parallel had asked, what was some of our favorite vehicles as a kid? Mine were always G.I. Joe because the characters fit in the vehicle and you could role play that way. And so, that's kind of what we're trying to emulate is the functionality of it and stuff. So, realizing that there's high-end photography to go into this, I just think that little mean machine would look so awesome, especially with like some, special effect 3D printed. There it is. That is a mean machine right there. Deadly, deadly, deadly. But it's small enough. It's a two-pilot or, two-seater cockpit. We'll have to have him on to talk about it if we go forward with this because it is a awesome little machine. So that's the direction I'm thinking, at least for now, on that one. Unless Hasbro comes out with one tomorrow.
You say, we're just going to do a news helicopter, and then Hasbro comes out with one. Nice. I think that covers most of them for today. But again, if you guys have any questions for any of the cast or crew, feel free to shoot us a message on Instagram, and we will respond.
I'm losing my natural light here anyways, and my light's not coming on. So probably a good time to wrap it up. All right, guys. Well, that'll probably do it for the sixth episode. Like Eddie had mentioned in the beginning, I think we're going to change the name to the 1/12 Scale Chop Shop. It's just a little clearer on YouTube and some of the social media platforms. We can put it out on there what it is. It's a obviously a Oddfrog Entertainment brand, but we want people to be able to find it according to what it is. So yeah, we're probably going to change the name to something like the 1/12 Scale Chop Shop. And like Mikey said, we really appreciate all your support. Special shout out goes to at 12th Parallel on Instagram. And like and subscribe, guys. We're going to continue to do this. We're having fun doing this. We like being transparent and open about what we're working on. Obviously, we'll probably be a little more guarded with our ideas. Not that, anybody saw what we were doing on there. And but it's like, it's a little close to home. So tune in next week. And Mikey, I'll let you
before you close out. Well, before you close out, I was going to say, I'm a big fan of positive quotes, and I love words of wisdom, and I found some quotes on playing and toys. So I just thought I'd share a quote with you guys, see if you dig it. The quote is, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." That by Maya Angelou.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah.
Toy words of wisdom.
That's great. Oh, one quick thing about Mattel is as you walk through the building, there's just tons of quotes on the wall like that. Yeah.
Nice.
We don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing. I think that's one of them they have in there. Anyways, thanks for joining us again, you guys. And tune in next week, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you for tuning in to the Oddfrog Chop Shop podcast. This episode is brought to you by MLCVoice.com and OddFrogEntertainment.com. Theme music is Burlesque Heartache by RKVC. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Until next time, keep creating and keep playing.